You know, it's day 8 of day 14, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still dealing with some radio issues. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and the Galaxy Nexus here, we've gone over the specs. It's got the dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 5-megapixel camera. You know what it's capable of with ice cream sandwich and a stock version at that. So no overlays, no software cluttering it up, and that's one thing I really like about the experience. I've really been enjoying Android 4.0 in its stock form. Not dealing with Sense 4, not dealing with TouchWiz 4.0, not dealing with Sense 3.6, whatever the case may be. Those are all well and good, and there are times and places for those, and I'm not saying I don't like TouchWiz or don't like Sense, but I've really been enjoying kind of the stock ice cream sandwich experience. It's a little bit more refined, in my opinion, than Gingerbread. I think it still has a little bit of a ways to go in terms of being consumer friendly. I still think, if I were giving this to my mom, for example, I think I'd look at like Sense 3.6 or maybe Sense 4 at some point, or TouchWiz 4.0 atop ice cream sandwich versus just giving her this and saying, hey, figure it out. So I think there's still some complications to it, but overall I'm really enjoying the way that the software looks. Apparently my Best Buy credit card payment is due, but still having some radio issues. I'm noticing that even in really strong Verizon areas, I'm having trouble from time to time with calls. They're kind of choppy. Sometimes I've dropped several calls still, and that battery life is just still an issue for me. I never ended up getting the extended battery this weekend. I'm still working with the 1,850 milliamp hour battery, but it's still not enough. With 4G connected, and I go back and forth. Like I tried all day Saturday, keeping 4G connected. I'm charging 2 and 3 times a day with my usage, and my usage really isn't that much on the weekends. It's quite a bit during the week, but even on the weekends, 2 to 3 times a day on 4G. With 3G, I can usually make it through till about 5 or 6, 7, somewhere in there, and I have to charge either via my car charger, or if I'm at home, just plug it in for some juice really quickly. Not charging all the way back to 100%, but I just find myself attached to that charger all the time. Otherwise, really enjoying the software. That's a really big perk for me. Software's been great, and it's relatively fast. I haven't had a whole lot of Android lag with this. I'm not seeing any sort of, in my opinion, Android is not as fluid as iOS or perhaps as Windows Phone, but I'd say out of all the Android interfaces I've used, out of all of the versions of Android that I've worked with, tested as part of my job, I've been pretty pleased with this one. I get a forced close message every now and again, but nothing too major. And I'll say, it moves, and you're seeing on the screen, it moves relatively quickly with little to no lag, and that's always that's a perk for me, because when I look at the type of phone that I prefer a device that's fluid and easy to use. That's my favorite thing. I work with phones 60, 70 hours a week. When I'm off or when I'm not at work, or even when I'm at work, I'm on conference calls, I want something that's quick access, easy to use, very consistent, and I think in the Android department, this one does a really good job with that. Still some lag from time to time, but it still does a great job. Really concerned about the radio issues though, the battery life again. I haven't tried the 2,100 milliamp hour battery at Verizon. If you have that, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below or on PhoneDog.com. Let me know what you think. If the battery makes it through the day for you, if you still have trouble even with the extended battery, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section or on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. But the radio issues continue to be a problem. Otherwise, I've discovered some great new things. For example, let me see if I can find it here. And I wouldn't say discovered, I knew these things before, but I'm just finding easy access to the widgets, for example, out of apps. I'm really pleased with the software, but the other thing, the radio and the battery is just too much for me. And for somebody that uses their phone a lot like I do, that's going to be a big issue. Stay tuned though, because I'm in on day 8, day 14 is when it ends. Maybe I'll change my mind. Perhaps the radio will magically get better, or maybe I'll just get used to it. Stay tuned for more videos in the Samsung Galaxy Nexus Challenge.